Under the golden glow of a Montana dawn, tragedy struck in the rugged Absaroka Range. A tiny Mustang foal, barely 5 days old, lay trembling and alone, his mother taken by predators. Weak, dehydrated, and abandoned, the fragile baby horse faced certain death in the unforgiving wilderness. But fate had something extraordinary in store, a bond so unlikely, so powerful, that it would defy the boundaries of species and rewrite the rules of survival. This is the heartwarming story of Chance, the orphaned Mustang, and Luna, the grieving German shepherd who became his adoptive mother. Together, they proved that love knows no limits, and that even in the darkest moments, hope can take the most unexpected forms. Luna, once a decorated search and rescue dog, had fallen into despair after losing her own puppies. Her grief mirrored the desperation of the orphaned foal she stumbled upon by a creek one evening. What began as an act of instinct soon blossomed into a profound connection, one that healed both their broken hearts and defied everything science thought it knew about cross-species relationships. Their journey wasn't just about survival. It was about finding family where least expected. This tale will remind you that love transcends all barriers, species, size, or circumstance. It's a story of resilience, adaptation, and the unbreakable bonds that form when two souls in need find each other. Through Luna's unwavering devotion and Chance's determination to thrive, we are reminded that sometimes the greatest miracles happen when the world needs them most. If this story resonates with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more inspiring tales of courage, love, and the incredible connections between animals. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the extraordinary relationship between Luna and Chance and discover how their bond changed lives, including ours. Have you ever witnessed an animal forming a bond that defied logic? Let us know in the comments below. The Golden Dawn had barely broken over Montana's Absaroka Range when the mountain lion struck. The small band of wild Mustangs, led by a black stallion known to local rangers as Thunderhead, scattered in panic. In the chaos, a tiny Palomino foal, just 5 days old, became separated from his cream-colored mother. Ranch owner Alan Pearson witnessed the attack through his spotting scope from his cabin porch. The mare had fought valiantly to defend her baby, giving him time to hide in a thicket of brush, but her injuries proved fatal. By the time Alan reached the site on horseback, the mountain lion had retreated, and the mare lay motionless on the blood-soaked grass. There was no sign of the rest of the Mustang band. They had fled to higher ground. But the baby, too young to keep up, had not gone with them. "Poor little fella," Alan muttered to himself, scanning the surrounding brush. "Without your mama, you don't stand a chance out here." Alan spent the morning searching, but found no trace of the missing foal. With a heavy heart, he returned to his ranch, the Circle P, a small cattle operation he ran with his daughter, Emma, a veterinarian who had recently returned from active military duty in Afghanistan. What Alan didn't know was that the terrified foal had fled downhill, following the path of least resistance. Weak and disoriented, the baby horse stumbled through unfamiliar territory, his instincts driving him to seek safety. His small body was already suffering from dehydration and hunger, without his mother's milk. At the southern edge of Alan's property, in a small cabin near the creek, lived Luna, a 7-year-old German shepherd with a remarkable history. Once the region's most decorated search and rescue dog, Luna had retired after an injury to her back leg. Emma had adopted her and recently bred her, hoping to raise a new generation of working dogs for the ranch. Tragedy had struck just days earlier when Luna's entire litter of puppies had been stillborn. The dog had fallen into a deep depression, refusing food and spending her days lying beside the small box where her puppies had been buried behind the cabin. As dusk fell across the mountains, the exhausted foal staggered down to the creek near Luna's cabin. His survival instinct drew him to water. His legs, already unsteady under normal circumstances, finally gave out, and he collapsed at the creek's edge, too weak to stand again. The sound of his fall and soft, frightened whinny carried through the evening air to the sensitive ears of a dog who had spent her life finding those who were lost. Luna's ears perked up at the unfamiliar sound. Not quite a cry, not quite a call, but unmistakably the sound of distress. Despite her own grief and the stiffness in her injured leg, instinct drove her to investigate. She rose from her spot beside the buried puppies and limped toward the creek. Emma, watching from the cabin window, noticed the change immediately. It was the first time in days Luna had shown interest in anything. Curious, she followed the dog at a distance, medical bag in hand. Her veterinarian's instinct was as strong as Luna's rescue drive. What Luna found at the creek's edge was a golden foal, barely larger than a German shepherd, collapsed on his side. His breathing was shallow, his coat dull with dust and dried sweat. Without his mother's milk, dehydration had set in rapidly. The German shepherd approached cautiously, her nurturing instinct making her circle the foal once, assessing. Then, to Emma's amazement, Luna began to lick the foal's face with gentle, methodical strokes, the same motion she had used to clean her puppies during their brief moments of life. The foal responded with a weak noise, something between a whinny and a sigh. The sound seemed to trigger something profound in Luna. She lay down beside the baby horse, pressing her warm body against his, and continued cleaning his face and neck. Emma watched in stunned silence before finally approaching. Her medical training took over as she knelt beside the foal, checking vital signs. "Severe dehydration, probable hypoglycemia," she murmured. "He's maybe 5 days old. Must have lost his mother." She glanced at Luna, who showed no signs of moving from the foal's side. "Well, girl, looks like you found someone who needs you as much as you need them. Let's get this little one to the barn." Emma gently lifted the foal, surprised at how light he was, a bad sign of his weakened condition. Luna followed closely, her eyes never leaving the baby horse, whining softly whenever the foal made a sound of distress. In the small treatment area of the barn, Emma worked quickly, administering fluids subcutaneously and preparing a formula that would approximate mare's milk. "Dad," she called through a radio, "you need to come to the barn. You won't believe what Luna found." Alan arrived as Emma was finishing the emergency treatment. "That's the foal from the band that was attacked this morning," he said immediately. Didn't think he'd made it. What happened next would begin a story that neither Alan nor Emma, despite her years of veterinary experience, would have believed possible if they hadn't witnessed it themselves. As Emma attempted to bottle feed the weakened foal, Luna pushed forward, whining anxiously. The dog positioned herself so her body curved around the foal's head, then began to lick and nuzzle him as he struggled with the unfamiliar bottle. "She's mothering him," Alan said incredulously. Emma nodded, a theory forming in her mind. After losing her puppies, she needs someone to care for, and he needs a mother. The first 48 hours were critical. Emma worked tirelessly, feeding the orphaned foal every 2 hours with a specially formulated milk replacer. She named him Chance, for the slim chance he had at survival without his mother. But what made his care extraordinary wasn't Emma's medical expertise. It was Luna's unwavering dedication. The German shepherd refused to leave the foal's side. She slept curled against his body, maintaining his temperature when he struggled to regulate it himself. She cleaned him after feedings, stimulated his bodily functions as she would have done for her own puppies, and seemed to sense when he needed Emma's attention, barking sharply to summon the veterinarian. "I've never seen anything like it," Emma told her father as they watched Luna guide the wobbly foal around the small stall on his 3rd day. "It's like she's convinced he's hers." Alan nodded thoughtfully. Dogs adopt other species sometimes, but a horse, that's a mighty big puppy. Yet the size difference didn't seem to register with Luna. When Chance struggled to stand, she would position herself against his side, providing support until his legs steadied. When he managed to walk a few steps, she pranced beside him with unmistakable pride. Most remarkable was the communication developing between them. Luna had adapted her nurturing signals, the crouches, the eye contact, the soft woofs, to guide the foal. And against all odds, Chance was responding, seeming to understand her canine instructions. Emma documented everything, taking videos and detailed notes. Her colleagues in the veterinary community were skeptical when she described what was happening. "A dog can't raise a horse," Dr. Marshall insisted during their video call. "It's a temporary bonding due to hormonal displacement after her failed litter." But Emma saw something deeper forming. "You need to see them together," she insisted. "This isn't just hormones. They're developing a genuine mother-child relationship." The turning point came on the 5th day. Chance had gained enough strength to spend time in the small paddock adjacent to the barn. Emma brought Luna out on her leash, unsure how the dog would react to the foal in a larger space. She needn't have worried. The moment Luna was released, she raced to Chance's side, circling him protectively before lying down nearby, positioned perfectly to watch both the foal and any potential approaches from outside the fence. When a delivery truck backfired on the nearby road, Chance startled and bolted in fear. Before Emma could react, Luna was in motion, racing ahead of the panicked foal, cutting off his path, and gently but firmly herding him back to safety. It was the instinctive action of a mother protecting her young. Except this mother had paws and fur, and her puppy was a long-legged baby horse who already outweighed her by double. "Well, I'll be damned," Alan said, watching from the fence line. "She's raising him like he's one of her own." "No, Dad," Emma corrected, her scientific skepticism finally giving way to wonder. "She's raising him like he's her only one." By the 3rd week, Chance had transformed from a weak, dying foal into an energetic, curious young horse. His golden coat regained its luster, and his wobbly legs grew stronger daily. What fascinated Emma most, however, was watching the unique language developing between the unlikely pair. Luna had adapted her nurturing signals into a sophisticated communication system. Different barks meant different instructions. A single sharp bark meant stop, 2 quick barks meant follow me, and a low growl signaled danger. Chance responded to these signals with the precision of a trained horse, many times his age. It was extraordinary, Emma explained to Dr. Marcus Reed, an animal behaviorist who had traveled from Colorado State University after seeing Emma's videos online. They've developed a cross-species communication system in just 3 weeks. Dr. Reed observed them for hours, taking meticulous notes. The dog is using modified nurturing behaviors, but what's remarkable is how she's simplified and adapted them specifically for the foal. And the foal isn't just responding. He's initiating interactions using signals the dog understands. Indeed, Chance had developed his own set of signals. A gentle nudge with his muzzle meant he wanted to play. A soft whinny while looking at his water bucket communicated thirst. When tired, he would stand over Luna, creating a small, sheltered space where the dog would happily settle. Most impressive was their play. Luna had modified classic canine play behaviors to accommodate her much larger puppy. She would tug gently on a rope toy, teaching Chance to pull back without using too much force. She would dart around him in circles, encouraging him to practice quick turns that would eventually be essential survival skills in the wild. "She's not just mothering him," Dr. Reed noted with amazement. "She's teaching him to be a horse, in the only way she knows how." The most touching moments came in the evenings. Luna would settle in the straw beside Chance's much larger body, and the foal would gently rest his head near her, both closing their eyes in perfect contentment. Word of the extraordinary relationship spread through the veterinary community and beyond. Local news picked up the story, and soon visitors began arriving at the Circle P, hoping to witness the unlikely mother and baby. Alan established strict viewing protocols to protect the pair from stress. "They're not a sideshow," he insisted. "What's happening here is, well, it's something special." Emma agreed, though her scientific mind had initially sought logical explanations for Luna's behavior, displaced maternal instincts, hormonal responses. She now found herself simply appreciating the pure, emotional bond she witnessed daily. "Sometimes the heart finds what it needs," she told a documentary filmmaker who had come to record the pair. Luna needed someone to love. Chance needed someone to love him. The fact that one's a dog and one's a horse. That detail seems to matter only to us humans. As Chance reached 2 months of age, new challenges emerged. The foal was growing rapidly, already standing at 3 feet tall and weighing over 150 pounds. Luna, at a steady 45 pounds, was now physically dwarfed by her adopted puppy. Their size difference created practical difficulties. Chance's playful nudges, once gentle, now carried enough force to knock Luna off her feet. His attempts to curl up beside her, as he had done as a newborn, now resulted in the dog being unintentionally pinned against walls or fences. "We're entering a critical phase," Emma explained to her father. In normal horse development, this is when the mother would establish boundaries, teaching the foal appropriate behavior through clear discipline. Alan nodded, watching as Luna nimbly dodged Chance's enthusiastic approach. "Question is, can a dog teach horse manners?" The answer emerged over the following days as Luna adapted once again to meet the needs of her unusual child. When Chance became too physical, she employed classic canine correction techniques: a sharp bark, a gentle nip at his fetlocks, or simply walking away and ignoring him until his behavior improved. To everyone's amazement, the foal responded to these corrections with the same respect he would have shown an adult horse. He learned to modulate his movements around his smaller mother, to lower his head to her level for grooming, and to control his strength during play. Emma documented this developmental phase with particular interest. "What we're witnessing is unprecedented adaptive parenting across species," she told Dr. Reed during his second visit. "Luna is applying canine parenting techniques to a completely different species, and Chance is translating these signals into appropriate equine behavior." The most remarkable adaptation came when Emma began introducing Chance to essential horse skills. While Luna couldn't demonstrate how to graze or which plants were safe to eat, she found ways to participate in his education. When Emma brought in samples of safe grazing plants, Luna would sniff them first, then nudge Chance toward them, giving her approval in the only way she knew how. During halter training, the German Shepherd would walk precisely at Emma's heel, demonstrating the following behavior she wanted Chance to learn. "She's bridging our world and his," Alan remarked one afternoon, watching Luna proudly trot alongside as Emma led Chance on his first walk beyond the paddock, translating between horse, dog, and human. By 3 months, Chance had developed into a healthy, well-adjusted colt with one peculiar characteristic. He responded better to canine communication signals than to traditional horse training methods. He would come instantly to Luna's recall bark, yet take days to learn standard equine cues. "He thinks he's part dog," a visiting trainer commented with a laugh after watching Chance playfully drop into a German shepherd-like crouch before frolicking away. Emma smiled, but her thoughts had already turned to the future. The question now was what happens next. He's a wild Mustang by birth. Eventually, he'll need equine companions. That reality brought a bittersweet quality to the daily joy of watching the unusual mother and child. Their bond had saved Chance's life and healed Luna's broken heart. But nature had its own timeline, and the small colt would soon become a full-grown horse with needs his canine mother couldn't fulfill. At 6 months old, Chance had grown into a handsome young Mustang, standing over 4 feet tall at the shoulder. His golden coat gleamed in the Montana sunlight, and his movements showed the natural grace of his wild heritage. Though still a colt in age, he was rapidly developing the physical characteristics of the adult horse he would become. Luna remained his constant companion, but the nature of their relationship had begun a subtle evolution. Rather than the intensive mothering of his early days, the German Shepherd now operated more as a guardian and friend. She would lie nearby as he grazed in the larger pasture Emma had opened for him, alert for any potential dangers, but no longer glued to his side. "She's giving him appropriate independence," Emma explained to the film crew that had returned to document Chance's development. "Just like any good mother, she's adjusting her care to meet his changing needs." Yet the bond between them remained extraordinary. Each morning, Chance would still greet Luna with gentle nuzzles, and each evening, the dog would still perform a thorough inspection of her colt, checking him for injuries or problems with the diligence of an experienced mare. The most pressing concern for Emma and Alan was Chance's lack of equine socialization. While Luna had successfully raised a physically healthy horse, Chance had never interacted with his own kind. He displayed behaviors that were a unique blend of equine and canine, playing fetch with large balls, responding to Luna's barks, even attempting to herd the ranch's chickens alongside his adoptive mother. "He needs to learn to be a horse," Emma acknowledged. "As remarkable as their relationship is, we can't ignore his natural needs." The solution came from an unexpected quarter. Sierra, a retired rodeo mare in her 20s, had been part of the Circle P for years, mostly providing companionship to the horses Alan and Emma used for ranch work. Gentle and patient by nature, Sierra had raised several foals of her own in her younger days. When first introduced to Chance over a paddock fence, Sierra showed typical mare curiosity without aggression. Chance, however, was wary, hiding behind Luna and viewing the larger horse with obvious uncertainty. Luna's reaction surprised everyone. After a careful assessment of Sierra, the German Shepherd did something remarkable. She led Chance toward the fence, physically guiding him to interact with his own species. "She knows," Alan said softly as they watched. "Somehow that dog understands he needs this." Over the following weeks, Emma carefully orchestrated supervised interactions, gradually allowing Chance more contact with Sierra. Luna was always present, watching alertly but increasingly standing back, allowing the equine mentorship to develop. The day finally came for Chance and Sierra to share the same paddock. Emma had prepared for every contingency, but her worries proved unnecessary. Under Luna's watchful eye, Chance approached Sierra with growing confidence, and the older mare responded with the gentle guidance of an experienced mother. What followed was a beautiful balance that none of them had dared hope for. During the days, Chance would graze alongside Sierra, learning essential horse behaviors and communication. In the evenings, he would return to the barn where Luna waited. Their special bond remained undiminished by his new friendship. "He's finding his place between two worlds," Emma told her father as they watched the unusual family. One dog, two horses, sharing the evening pasture and peaceful companionship. And so is Luna. One year after Luna had found the dying foal by the creek, the Circle P Ranch hosted a small gathering of veterinarians, animal behaviorists, and wildlife officials to witness what many had called the miracle Mustang and his German Shepherd mother. Chance had grown into a magnificent yearling. His golden coat and strong build drew admiring comments from the horse experts present. Though smaller than domesticated yearlings his age, a result of his premature weaning and difficult start, he showed all the spirit and intelligence of his wild heritage. "We've documented every stage of this unprecedented relationship," Emma explained to the assembled group, "from critical survival care to complex behavioral adaptation across species. What Luna and Chance have shown us challenges our understanding of both canine and equine psychology." Dr. Reed, who had visited regularly throughout the year, presented his findings to his colleagues. "The bond formed between these animals represents one of the most significant cross-species adoptions ever documented. Their communication system alone contains elements never before observed." As the presentations continued, Luna and Chance demonstrated their extraordinary connection for the visitors. The yearling Mustang, now 10 times the German Shepherd's weight, still responded instantly to her subtle signals, moving with her in perfect coordination as they traversed the ranch property. Most touching was their greeting ritual, unchanged since Chance's earliest days. The massive yearling would lower his head to Luna's level, and she would lick his face exactly as she had when he was a dying foal at the creek's edge. But the most significant announcement came at the end of the day. Alan stepped forward, addressing the gathered specialists with uncharacteristic emotion in his voice. "When we found this little fella, our only goal was keeping him alive. Thanks to Luna and Emma, he's thrived beyond anyone's expectations. But he's a wild Mustang, and we've always known that had to mean something for his future." Emma continued where her father left off. "We've partnered with the Bureau of Land Management and wild horse conservation groups to create something new, a soft release program for Chance and eventually other rescued Mustangs." She gestured toward the hillside beyond the ranch, where a large natural enclosure encompassed hundreds of acres of wilderness. Chance will live there, free to develop his natural behaviors, but protected from the threats he's not equipped to handle. Sierra will join him as a companion and will gradually introduce other rescued Mustangs to form a sustainable band. What she didn't need to explain to anyone present was the most obvious aspect of the plan. Near the enclosure's main gate stood a small cabin, Luna and Emma's new home. While Chance would gain the freedom his heritage demanded, the bond that had saved his life would remain unbroken. As the presentation concluded and the visitors departed, Emma stood on the porch of the main ranch house, watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. Beside her, Luna sat alertly, her eyes fixed on Chance as he grazed peacefully in the evening light. "You changed everything for him," Emma said softly, stroking the German shepherd's head. "And he changed everything for you." As the sun set over the Circle P ranch, painting the mountains in hues of gold and crimson, Chance stood tall, a magnificent yearling whose strength and spirit were a testament to the power of love and resilience. Beside him, Luna watched with quiet pride, her role as his protector and guide now evolving into something deeper: friendship. The bond they shared had not only saved Chance's life, but had also healed Luna's broken heart, proving that even the most unlikely connections can transform lives forever. Their story didn't end there. With the help of Emma, Alan, and a team of dedicated conservationists, Chance prepared for a new chapter, a soft release program designed to honor his wild heritage while ensuring his safety. Yet through it all, Luna remained by his side, a constant reminder that family isn't defined by species but by the love and trust we share. Together, they bridged worlds, teaching us that compassion has no limits and that every creature deserves a second chance. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales of hope and healing. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder that love transcends all boundaries. And let us know in the comments, what lesson did you take away from Luna and Chance's journey? Thank you for joining us today. And remember, every act of kindness, no matter how small, can create ripples of change that last a lifetime.